Hello, I'm Bob Fox, Mayor of Portage. Welcome to our town.
One day this October, a group of volunteers in the Portage area came together with their video cameras to record the people, places, and happenings in their hometown. This is Our Town, Portage. Support for Our Town Portage comes from Ray Oil and Gas Company, 629 Delancey Drive, serving the heating needs of their customers since the 1930s. Stager's Store, 696 Delancey Drive, a proud sponsor of Our Town Portage. Sassy Sisters Restaurant, 911 Caldwell Avenue, offering dining and catering services for all occasions. The Rotary Club of Portage, proudly serving the community since 1947. And from viewers like you, thank you.
My name is John Avrilla. I'm a lifetime resident of Portage, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the history of Portage and how Portage came to be. Allegheny Portage Railroad was a rail system that they used to carry canal boats over the mountains. We had a canal system that ran from Philadelphia to Hollidaysburg, and then they had the problem of getting the canal boats over the mountain. So they devised a railroad system of inclined planes, and Portage was about the middle of the distance between Hollidaysburg and Johnstown, so they had the headquarters here. And they also started providing fuel from the many trees in the area to fuel the trains. And that resulted in some sawmills being developed here, and it really didn't start to develop with a large number of people until the coal mines were opened. And that, with the discovery of coal in the area, brought in a large number of people and hotels to take and house the people. I think there were as many as 5 hotels in the area. One of the larger coal companies was the Johnstown Coal and Coke Company, and they had 4 mines in the one area of Portage, and they mined as much as 3,500 tons of coal in one day, and they hired about 900 to 1,000 people. There were a variety of different types of coal mines. Some of them were from the large companies, others were just small, what they called house coal mines. And these mines would mine by maybe individual or a small family, and they'd provide coal for people in the area to heat their homes. Tragedy had struck the area in 1940 with the Salmon mine explosion. In this explosion, there were 63 men killed. Unfortunately, a lot of them, or some of them, had been killed in the initial blast, but had survived the blast only to die later from a lack of oxygen because the mine rescuers couldn't get to them soon enough. I think it was about the mid-50s. It came to a point where it wasn't economically feasible to take and mine the coal in the area, and so many of the mines started shutting down in this region. I guess we started out providing energy for the trains on the Allegheny Portage Railroad, coal to provide energy for electricity from coal generating stations, and now I guess we're providing energy through windmills and the many windmills that we have in the area around Portage Township. This is the original station, the train station that we had here. It was built in 1925 to 1926. We had it remodeled several years ago. We had a new floor put in, but the wood and the rest of the stuff around is the original materials. I really like Portage. I taught at the local high school, so I just know about everybody in the town, and I guess that's probably the most important thing. You know who your neighbors are, and everybody is so friendly, and you're always, we go for a walk, my wife and I go for a walk, and it's difficult sometimes to get a walk in because every block you stop and talk to somebody, and it's just a nice place to live.
Hi, I'm Kathy Krinjak. I'm the current president of the Rotary Club of Portage. Rotarians are all volunteers, and we give our time and talents locally, regionally, and internationally for projects under the motto, Service Above Self. We meet once a week. The first meeting of the month is held in our own building, and that's very unique for a Rotary Club to have your own building. Then we meet the other 3 meetings at the Parkway Restaurant in Portage. Some of the things we do, we actually have 3 pancake and sausage breakfast every year. We do an annual St. Patrick's Day dance. We started doing the St. Patrick's Day dance about 6 years ago, and each year it's just getting bigger and better. We also do a golf outing in July, and we also sponsor the 5K Summerfest race. The bulk of the money we raise does stay here in the community. That's, I don't want to stress that, but we are an international organization. So with that, there's certain projects we have sponsored internationally and district-wise. Group study exchange is probably my favorite thing. And what it is you'll sponsor a team from another country, and they'll come over. It's 4 young professionals, ages 25 to 40. They'll shadow one of the professionals in a similar field here in the United States. And they spend about 3 weeks in our district, and they tour around. We show them local areas of interest. It's just a lot of fun. We give 4 scholarships to high school students each year. We also do the dictionary project, which is a lot of fun. What we do is we purchase dictionaries for the 3rd graders, not only Portage, but the neighboring school districts of Penn, Cambria, and Forest Hills. We sponsor the local Interact Club, which is Interact Club's a service organization, usually sponsored through a school district by Rotary, and open to kids ages 14 to 18. The Adopt a Highway, the kids will go and actually they do that for us with some Rotaries Rotarians to make sure that they're safe. We work with Pennahontas Community College. We contribute to the One Book, One Community program each year. Portage Area Library's annual fund drive. Portage Area Food Pantry we give to each year. Critton McCormick Park, we've donated quite a bit of money to the park over the years. And as I said, Main Street beautification, we just donated money for a fountain there on Main Street. What I like about Portage is I've always been welcomed by the people here. Very nice people, welcoming, warm. And when you say that you live in a small town, everybody knows everybody, well, that's true. Everybody cares about people, and that's absolutely true.
My name is Dennis Beck. I am a resident or a native-born Portage person. In 2001, we started the Trout Run Watershed Association here to do an assessment of Trout Run, which is the main stream coming from Martindale down into Portage. The top end is very good. That's our source of our water supply for the community. But about a mile to a mile and a half down, it starts being affected by acid mine drainage. So the Trout Run Watershed Association was formed to look for grants to try to clean up some of these discharges coming down to improve the quality of life in Portage. The Puritan discharge is the first major discharge on Trout Run. It has a pH of about 2.9, which is very acidic. And when it goes into Trout Run, it just kills all the trout and all the aquatic life and all the plants in there because it's so acidic. The next discharge down is the Miller Shaft discharge. It's got a lot of aluminum in it, which is the major problem in that one. The pH is good, but it's got a lot of aluminum, and when it comes into Trout Run, it turns the stream bed white. Aluminum is very toxic to plant life and fish, and so the aluminum just kills everything. There's 3 major discharges in Portage, the discharge into the Little Conemaugh River. Miller Shaft is 1, the used borehole is number 2, and the DEP borehole on Route 53 is the 3rd one. And all of them come in about 1,000 gallons a minute, which is just a tremendous volume of water to design a treatment system for. DEP will give you the money to build it, but then you have to come up with the money to keep it running for years and years and years. So that's the problem with these big discharges. The used discharge, which is in Jamestown, just outside of Portage, we reached an agreement between DEP, Amfire, which is a coal company here in Portage, and Gary Halishka, our representative in Harrisburg. Worked out a deal that Amfire would build a treatment system for the used borehole. So the used borehole is going to be taken care of probably within the next 2 years. The Puritan discharge will be taken care of next year. So that's 2 discharges that we're going to take care of. Miller Shaft and the discharge on Route 53, that's going to take a little longer time to take care of those. The other thing Trout Run Watershed Association has done since 2001, we've engaged the Portage area high school students on Earth Week. We cleaned up Trout Run, Main Street, 6 miles of roads around Portage, and the community park. And we've been doing that since 2001, and we continued it last year, which is just a tremendous learning lesson for the students, especially cleaning up the roads because they find all kind of wonderfully lucky things on the road. They learn that, you shouldn't throw the garbage out your windows, out your cars, leave it on the side of the roads, because they end up picking it up every year. The trout run that runs down through there is just beautiful scenery. So I think it's a plus for the whole community that we can increase and improve the quality of life. Maybe we can fish for trout in Trout Run eventually, which is my goal. Everybody asks me, how long is this going to take? And I originally said 5 years, but maybe 10 years. But we're working on it, and we're making progress, so we're going to get there.
My name is Kathy Badu Gilpatrick, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Portage Library. We're very proud of our library. It was formed back in 1927. A group of ladies decided Portage needed a library, and they had it on top of the old fire hall, which people in Portage will remember. 3 of the men of the town, Ferdinand Bayones, Mr. Christofko, and Mr. Pete Hans, decided that they were going to get another building for the library. Well, the old VFW on Main Street, they managed to get that building, and that became the new home of the library. Well, since then, there's been so many improvements in it. We've gotten computers, we've gotten access to e-books. We also have a reading group that meets about once a month or so, and we've been going at least 10 years strong, I think. We have Wi-Fi service. We have computers for people to sign in and use. There's no charge. It's also a meeting place for a lot of people in the town. We also have audio books to lend. We have copy service, fax service, and those are at minimal charges because we're there not to make money either. I can't understand why it's not more used, because it's truly one of the only things left that I know of that's truly free. It does not cost anything to get a Portage Library card. One of our main things is our program for children, and it's preschool adventure hour, preschool story hour, whatever you want to call it, but it's for the little ones that are aged maybe 3 to 5, and the kids really like it. We recently received a grant to improve the children's section of the library. It had to be things for preschoolers. So we got new carpeting, new toys, new books. We have a train set for the kids to play with. We have also a doll set. That's real important because we want to try to get the kids, when they're young, to like the library, come in and read. There's an upstairs room in the library which had been refurbished by Justin Moore as his Eagle Scout project, and that's where Story Hour is held. And then when this grant came in and different things were purchased for it, it made it totally child-friendly up there. I've lived here all my life. In small towns, you know everybody, which can be a good thing and which can be a bad thing. I just feel good here. I feel safe here. I feel loved here.
My name is Scott Randall. I'm part of Randall Motor Company that was started in the early 1930s. It was started by my grandfather, Sam Randall. My grandfather started the auto wreckers business in 1930 in Jamestown. It was just in the backyard of his house. His brother-in-law, which was Jake Steger, had a scrap yard. He was going around collecting scrap and keeping it for metal and turning it in and recycling it. My grandfather, next door neighbor, started doing the cars. He started collecting cars and rebuilding cars and selling parts. And his big break came in 1936 when the Johnstown flood came. He went to Johnstown and bought a lot of flood cars, brought them back to the Jamestown location, and started selling the parts. In 1941, 42, 43, 44, 45, you could not buy used or new car parts. So he had a lot of new car parts for the car. So that's where he made a good portion of his money. That's how he became successful. Also in 1936, he bought the property where we are located right now. It's on the corner of Main Street and Route 53. We built the first building on that property in 1948. It was for the auto wreckers business. 2 years later, they built another building where they decided that they wanted to start rebuilding cars and repairing cars. So they built another building in 1950. And in 1953, we acquired the Chrysler Plymouth franchise. We added to the second building, put a showroom on it, and started selling new cars in 1953 and used cars. On that location, when we bought it from Mr. and Mrs. Frank Beck, they had a service station on it on the very corner where the present Sheetz location is right now. In 1961, we tore down the house gas station and built a regular service station, and that was operated until early 1980s. We tore it down because the car dealership was doing well, and we decided to make this just a used car lot of it. I have been involved, and my partner, Clark Randall, has been involved since the early 1970s. When we graduated, we both stayed with the car business. Our siblings never did that, but him and I both were interested in the car business, so we stayed with the car business. Clark's father, Ron, and my father, Cliff, actually ran the franchise, the New Car Chrysler dealership. When they both retired, we took over running the New Car franchise and the Auto Wreckers. The Auto Wreckers closed down in 1998. The Chrysler franchise expanded in 1995. We acquired the Dodge lineup of Dodge cars and Dodge trucks. In 1997, we acquired the Jeep franchise, so we were a full-line Chrysler dealer from 1997. In 2009, we gave up the Chrysler Jeep Dodge franchise and elected to go with just used cars on the Auto Wrecker property. We like being a part of the business community. We love living in the town of Portage. People are friendly. It's a nice place to live.
I'm Bruce Cadwallader. I'm the president of the Portage Volunteer Fire Department. The Portage Fire Department was incorporated under the Portage Borough in 1906. We have a long, rich history. We're kind of the hub of our community. We do the parades, we do anything and everything that anybody can throw at us at times. The present fire company is a result of a merger between Cassandra Volunteer Fire Department and the Portage Volunteer Fire Department. The merger started 3 years ago, and it was one of our accomplishments that I think is going to look back over the years at something that's going to be good for the community. We are currently housed in 2 locations. We call the one the North Hall, which is in Cassandra Borough. The other one is on Main Street in Portage. That's our main hall that we conduct all our business out of. We house equipment in both areas. So we have people running to the hall, the North Hall, or the hall in town when we go on calls. We kind of combined the two to eliminate a lot of overbuying on equipment. We needed more manpower, which we got under both the township and the borough and the Cassandra Borough. We are probably one of the best equipped fire companies in the county, bar none. We can take care of anything from pumping a cellar out, to a major fire, to a quick response with the ambulance, to a full-fledged rescue that can do any extraction from a vehicle. We have probably 70 members, 45 of them very active. Sometimes you get a company that's by itself. They can't obtain the people in the daytime, or they can't get people that they're shortchanged on running, and we seem to be doing great with that. Our fundraisers throughout the year, we have sub-sales every month, which is one of our major fundraisers. We have a major fund drive that we send out for the community, and they respond very well to us. We have a junior volunteer fire program connecting with the Portage area school, and we take the children or the kids from up at the school and we bring them down and they join under this program. They come to our firehouse at any time. It's open to them. They love to crawl in the fire trucks. They love to see 83.5 in a parade, which is a small little kind of a rescue unit. the bonds you form with the kids in the community, the parents, when you save somebody's life, you save a home, people just respond in such a way that it just makes you feel great. And it seems that our community just pulls together when we need to, and it's the people in our community that make it. It's wonderful to see that in action.
My name is John Shunyak. I'm here to talk today about the Cassandra Railroad Overlook located in Cassandra, Pennsylvania. Approximately 10-12 years ago, I noticed some cars that made a right-hand turn in Cassandra, and they had out-of-state plates on them. And so I ventured up to the bridge, and 10 or 12 years ago, you could not actually see the bridge because it was so overgrown with trees and bushes. And I saw the people standing on the bridge with cameras and asked them what they were doing, and they would say they were here to photograph trains. Why it is so special to a rail fan, who is a person who just loves videotaping or taking pictures of trains, is because of the many camera angles it affords these rail fans when they're pursuing their hobby. There are 3 unique scenarios. Train heading east, there is a curve, a 3-mile straightaway, and you get to stand over top of these trains on the bridge. There is no other place in the country like that. There has been somebody from at least all 50 states, Canada, Australia, Germany, Great Britain, New Zealand, that have come to visit the Cassandra Railroad Overlook. The internet has just absolutely exploded the exposure of the overlook itself. We probably get 10 to 15,000 visitors on an annual basis. The All-Nighter is a unique event, and it affords the rail fans an opportunity to photograph the trains running at night. I set up lights so that there's a beam of light. So we actually have trains coming out of total darkness into this lit area, and it is a rather unique opportunity that a lot of rail fans don't get to do. The All-Nighter happens the first Saturday in August. The rail fan season starts around May, and then in October, when we have the fall foliage, rail fans come from all around because